We are with Father Norbert Hofmann, Secretary of the Vatican's Commission for Religious Relations with the Jews since 2002, and a person who can serve as a very good witness about the development of the dialogue between Jews and the Catholics in the last 18 years. The first question I would like to ask you, my dear friend, is this secretary for the relationship with the Jews is a part of the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity. How should we understand that? What has to do the Christian unity with the relationship with the Jews? Why is this organized on this way in the Vatican?
Dear Avi, I'm happy to see you and to speak to you after a long time. Unfortunately, not personally, but by Zoom. But I see you, I can hear you. And the first question has to do with theological reasons and more with practical and historical reasons. So maybe you know that Pope John the 23rd, he inaugurated the Second Vatican Council. And he charged Cardinal Augustin Bea to draft a new document, Tractatus de Iudeis, about a new relationship of the Catholic Church with the Jewish people. And this Augustin Bea, at the same time, had to produce a document about ecumenism, so the dialogue of the Catholic Church with other Christian communities and churches. And in this very person, Cardinal Augustin Bea, these two matters were bound together. So we had to organize, let's say, a text regarding the new relationship with the Jewish people of the Catholic Church and the text regarding the relationship to the other Christian churches. So this is the historical reason and the practical reason. But it's not bound really together because the Commission for Religious Relations with the Jews is separate. So even if Cardinal Koch is the boss of the Pontifical Council for Promoting Christian Unity, and he's the president of the Commission for Religious Relations with the Jews, but this commission is working independently. Of course, let's say the concrete work, the budget and so on is bound together, but the commission is independent. And sometimes Jewish people say, what has the dialogue with Jewish people to do with Christian unity? The starting point is different and the goal is different, but it has to do with our own history regarding the Second Vatican Council. And the theological reason is that the first rift, the first schisma, let's say, the first separation was the separation between church and synagogue. It happened, yes, with Jesus in the first century, and all other rifts and all other separations are coming from this rift. So let's say ecumenism is the relationship between all the Christian churches and communities, and all those Christian churches and communities, they have Jewish roots because Christianity has Jewish roots. Jesus was a Jew. So there are practical, historical reasons, and there are theological reasons regarding your question.
So we learned something very, very important, that of course, the Catholic Church, but in your vision, all the Christian denominations should see themselves as part or related in a very special relationship with the Jews, and you make a difference between this dialogue between this relationship with the Jews and the other religions, right?
Yes, the other religions here in the Vatican, we have a Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue. And they are organizing the dialogue with the Muslim people, with all the denominations of the Muslim people, with the Buddhists, with the Sikhs, with the Hindus, but the Jews as as only religion has an own commission in the Vatican. So the Jews are treated in a special way.
Good. Now, can you please summarize for us the advancements that the dialogue, in the dialogue between Jews and the Catholics, the advancement that took place, that occurred in the last, since you are secretary of such an important commission, you are a special witness, as I already said. So what occurred in this really, what occurred, what was the really advancement in the last 18 years since you were secretary?
Yeah, but you know, my predecessors, there were 4 predecessors, they also built upon Nostra Aetate. It's a document of the Second Vatican Council, and Nostra Aetate number 4 is speaking of a new theological relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. And my predecessors worked on Nostra Aetate, and I could work on what they did, you know. I myself, I didn't invent the advancements. People before me built the house, and I could go on building the house of relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. But when I started in 2002, we started a dialogue with the Chief Rabbinate of Israel. And the first meeting I can remember very well was in February 2003. A delegation of the Chief Rabbinate of Israel, about 6 to 8 people, and the delegation of the Vatican. And I had to organize this meeting. It was the beginning of a very fruitful dialogue. Until nowadays, we could meet every year, or in Rome or in Jerusalem. Of course, the last year we couldn't meet because of the pandemic, of the situation, of the Corona situation. And we spoke about a lot of very interesting topics and themes. The first theme I remember was the sanctity of life and family values. And you know, the Chief Rabbinate of Israel is representing Orthodox Jewry. So the Vatican from the beginning on, let's say, spoke mainly with Jews of the liberal synagogue, because they were in the beginning more open for dialoguing with the Catholic Church. But since 2002, I feel that also the Orthodox Jewish people are ready to dialogue with the Catholic Church. And it's the friendship grew, and we could foster really a good relationship between the Catholic Church and the Jewish people. This was one of the advancements. Then major advancement was the document of 2015, The Gifts and the Calling of God Were Irrevocable. It's a quotation from Romans 11, verse 29. And this document was welcomed not only by the Catholic people, but also by the Jewish people, especially point 40. They were very happy about the statement of the Catholic Church that we are no longer targeting Jews for mission, for conversion to Christianity. It was never written down in a document for the first time in 2015. And this was also a major step for the Orthodox Jewish people to be more open, you know. Then, of course, we organized some meetings with IJKIC, that's our official partner. It's the International Jewish Committee on Interest Consultations. They are representing world Jewry for the dialogue with the Catholic Church. And we organized conferences in Buenos Aires. And I met you for the first time, 2004 in Buenos Aires. You were the boss of a rabbinical seminary there. And I remember very well the gift you gave to
I
Cardinal
do.
Casper. You gave
I do.
to Cardinal Casper. It was a copy of what you find in the cathedral in Buenos Aires, commemorating the Holocaust. So then in Cape Town we met. Then we met in Hungary, in Budapest, and the last conference was in Poland, and also in Spain we met. So a lot of conferences I had to organize, and I saw during these conferences that we are becoming more and more friends, brothers and sisters, one family of God. Before, I heard that there were a lot of quarrels and issues without consensus. So, but now I have the impression we are collaborating. We are working together closely. Then another advancement is since 2009, we are organizing so-called emerging leadership conferences. That would mean young students, young people, Jewish and Catholic people, 50 people, 25 Catholics, 25 Jewish people. And we organize conferences in Berlin, in Rome, in Jerusalem. And it was supposed to organize the conference last year in Seville, but it couldn't happen because of the situation. So let's say, including young people is very important for the future of our dialogue. We need young people. And yes, and this, I would say, are the major advancements in these 18 years.
You consider that occurred some development in the theology, in the Catholic theology about the Catholic vision on the Jews, because you can, for sure, that you remember very well that in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we can find several books about the new Catholic vision, theological Catholic vision about the Jews. We had undoubtedly a huge advancement regarding what we call in Hebrew the hitkarvut, the approaching from between us, between Jews and Catholics, and really we got a lot of great things. What Pope Francis worked with me and with others on this subject in Buenos Aires, beginning in Buenos Aires. We got a lot of very important things. The book that we wrote together, the television programs that we recorded. And so there are many examples. But what occurred with the other part, with the theological part?
Yes, I'm remembering that we were together in Cambridge at the Institute of Edward Kessler in the aftermath of the publication of the document of 2015. I mentioned the gifts and the callings of God are still valid for the Jewish people. And we started there a theological dialogue, but unfortunately there was no continuation. And for us Catholics, a theological dialogue is very important. And we are developing more and more a Christian theology of Judaism, because Christianity has Jewish roots. And I here in the Vatican with the Commission, we are an administration, you know. For deepening theological arguments, we need professors, academians, universities. We have here in Rome the so-called Cardinal Bea Institute. They are teaching Judaism and they are teaching Jewish Catholic dialogue, and they are ready to deepening the theological dimension of our dialogue. I'm in good connection with Etienne Veteux, who is the director there, and they started to have a canonical license, an official title for their studies. And I think that's a good start to deepen the theological relationship. We already, in Nostra Aetate, you find the statement that Jews and Christians, they have a rich spiritual heritage. And this rich spiritual heritage, this should be named, this should be discovered more and more. And you know also, Avi, during the centuries, there was not only an influence of Judaism to Christianity, but also an influence of Christianity to Judaism. For example, the modern Jewish movements, they were in the 18th and 19th century. They were orientated also by church by church festivals, for example, and there is an influence, vice versa.
Mutual influence, a
Yes.
mutual influence, undoubtedly.
Mutual influence, and we should be aware of this, even if we speak about theological matters.
Because for us is also a theological, I would say, you know, in Judaism, the word theology is not so clear. We don't speak about theology as it's very common, very important in the Christianity. But but I would say that the Jewish view on Christians is also a very important matter that must be brushed up in our side. But we are looking all the time, trying to see how it's going on, the development, the theological development, because this is a great challenge for both of us. It's not the matter to fight where the emet, where the truth is, because we have our truth, our I would say theological truth, and your theological truth, but we must overcome the gaps separating, the gaps that was filled very often in our past with hate that separates us. We can respect the other one, okay? God will say about the details, because the details about which is the truth, or where the truth is. But in life, in common life, in the daily life, we have to build up another vision, about the other. What do you think about the new approach that Pope Francis did with the Muslim world?
Mm-hmm. First, I want to refer to what you said. Meanwhile, I know what is Judaism about. You are absolutely right. There's no theology regarding our idea of theology. You have your 613 mitzvot. You have the Torah. The Jewish thinking is a way of doing. It's an ethic behavior, being Jewish, more or less. And I want to add the two documents that were written by Orthodox Jewish people from Jerusalem to Rome, and the other document published in 2015. In these documents, the Jewish people say that Christianity is also God-given. It's in the plan of God that there is Christianity, and that the God of Israel was announced was announced by the Christians also in another way, of course. We have two different traditions. And these two documents are very positive for the Catholic Church, because they are admitting that that we have also a right of existence in the plans of God, and that the plans of God are not mad, but the plans of God are just and met according to the truth. And the truth, for us Christian, the truth is God himself, you know. And we have to discover the truth both according to our own traditions and to be testimonies for this truth. You in your tradition, I in my tradition. And now that your question regarding the
let me add something to your commentary. Really, I agree absolutely with you. These two documents elaborated by Orthodox rabbis. By the way, in one of them, they asked from me, let's say, a commentary, an approval commentary, of course, that you can find that as an addendum to one of them. Now, I would like to stress that Maimonides already emphasized that in the Abrahamic religions, I mean, that together with Judaism, I mean Christianity and Islam, they are part of God's plan. In the Mishneh Torah appears. Regarding your commentary about Emet, when I spoke about Emet, I spoke in human terms. In God terms, our looking on God is also that Emet is in him. In the Talmud appears that Chotamo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the seal of the Holy Blessed is He. What appears in the seal? The word Emet. Emet. Emet, you know, is the absolute. Why? Aleph. This is a Hasidic word, sentence. The Aleph is the first letter of the Jewish abecedary, the Taf, the last one, and the Mem, the letter in the middle of the Jewish abecedary. So you have everything. God is everything. Okay, let us go to our point.
Yeah, no,
to our next point.
I want to add, because I'm a Christian, we read today the gospel, and the gospel you find that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Because for us, Jesus is the icon of God. In Jesus, God revealed himself, his truth. So for us, Jesus is also the truth. Only addendum. Now to your question regarding the new approach of Pope Francis to the Muslim world. I welcome it, of course, there's no doubt, because all three religions, as you said, are referring to Abraham, our father in faith. And for the Jews, Abraham is very important. For us, Abraham is very important. And also for the Muslims, Abraham is very important. And you know that 2 years ago, there was signed the document of fraternity in Abu Dhabi. You have been present there. You could see how it worked. And then half a year later, Ronald S. Lauder, the president of the World Jewish Congress, was here in Rome at the Gregorian University to confirm that also the Jewish people are part of God's family, that they are also, they can also refer to fraternity. We all are people of God. We are one family of the one God. So Muslims, Jews, and Christians. And, you know, the Christians are a vast majority. And among the Christians, the Catholics are the majority. And the Jewish people are maybe only 14 to 16 millions. It's not so, it's a tiny group. And the Muslims, the Muslims also very, very numerous. It's a big religious group. So we have to take care also of the Muslims. And then, you know, regarding violence, Christians and Jews, they have maybe another approach, or they see violence in another way than some groups of the Muslims. I don't say that Islam is violent. No, 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 no. But some groups of Islam, they are violent, and so we have to react. We have to integrate all the people, especially also the people who are inclined to violence, for dialogue, because dialogue and interreligious dialogue is a means to prevent violence. That's my conviction. My conviction.
It's my conviction too.
I read an article of you in a book, and you wrote also about the importance of interreligious dialogue for the peace in the world. I read it.
Well, so my next question is about the future. What are you dreaming about the future? What do you consider must be done? What would be the main goal that dialogue could achieve in the future, and we must get for it too?
In a speech held by Pope Francis 2014, 1 year after being elected Pope, he spoke to a leadership group of American Jewish Committee, and he expressed 3 major goals for the future. The first goal is a collaboration in the field of charity. The poor you find in the book of Deuteronomy. We always have the poor and the people who are in need, and we should always take care of them, Jews and Christians together. It's a mitzvah. It's to take care of the poor and people who are in need, the ill, the sick, the elderly people, all the people who need us. We need to be in service for them. That's the first goal. A collaboration in this field between Jews and Christians. The second field would be including the young generation, young people. I mentioned it, emerging leadership conferences. The future dialogue has only a future if there are young people to be committed to this dialogue and to take it seriously and to go ahead. So young people we need. For example, when I started my job here in Italy, I was invited for a meeting of Amicizia Ebraico-Cristiana, and I saw mainly elderly people. I asked them, where are the young people? And we need the young people to be involved, Jews and Catholics. And the third goal is, as you mentioned it, deepening the theological dimension of our dialogue, deepening the theological dimension of our dialogue, discovering more and more the common spiritual heritage. And for me, the essence or the nucleus of our dialogue is friendship, you know? And if I would be together with you, we could eat, we could drink a glass of wine. Now we cannot. And this is for me very important, to sit together, to eat together, and to do some things together in our leisure time. I did with some Jewish friends.
Pope Francis would say also to study together.
Yes, study together, eat together, and discuss theological together. Our dialogue has several dimensions, and we don't have to forget these dimensions in the future. For me, the essence is friendship, and promoting and deepening friendship. I'm sorry, but it's not possible by Zoom conferences. But it's possible by a personal encounter, But for me, it's not harmful that the dialogue has now a standby situation for 2 years nearly regarding the pandemic situation. It's not harmful for me because we are friends and we know each other. And, you know, I'm wishing my Jewish friends Chag Sameach for Pesach and for the Jewish feast. And we are in contact. But for being in a fruitful contact, we need personal encounter. So I'm looking forward to the end of this situation, you know. And the future in our Catholic thinking The future is God himself, because, because everything is finishing, but God not. In the end, we are in the hands of God, you know. Also, time is finishing. When the Messiah comes and the reign of God will be installed, will be here, then everything is ending. Everything is finishing, and our future is God. So you're asking, what is the future? For me, the future is God.
I didn't ask exactly what is the future. But my question is, what should we work in the future, for the future?
Yes.
The future is only on the hands of God.
Yes.
That we agree theologically. We agree that no discussions, not only the future, the past, the present, everything is in God. Of course, this is our common conception of God. My dear
But
Norbert,
I want to add
yes,
something, because you know, certainly the future is in the hands of God. We are agreeing together, and we should be witness, because our societies are becoming more and more secular. That's the United States, that's here in Italy, that's in whole Europe. The societies, the Western, especially the Western societies, are becoming more and more secular, and there's a militant secularism, and there is atheism on the road, you know. And we have both the duty, I think, to be witness for God, for this future, as religious people. You in your tradition and I in my tradition. And that this we can do together in the future. To be witness in this more and more secular society.
my dear Norbert, two things that I would like to add to your last commentary. The first one is that twice in the book of the prophet Isaiah appears the expression Atemeidai. You are my witnesses. You, people of Israel. And in the second occasion appears, you are my witnesses and I am God. And there is a midrash, a very a midrash that astonished us, that shocked us, because the midrash says, if you are going to be my witnesses, I kiviachol in Hebrew is it's so as I am God. And if you are not going to be my witnesses, is keviachol it's in some way it's a word in order to put us to introduce an anthropomorphism in order to understand the deep set words of Isaiah. I am not going to be God. What means that? That we need our common work, your work and our work, in order for the presence of the God of the Bible.
Yes.
And this appears in an extraordinary paper of Rabbi Abraham Yoshua Heschel. Sure that you analyze this paper 1,000 times. No religion is an island. No religion is an island. His first call, no, 66, and it was after Nostra Aetate. And his call, okay, let us work together. Norbert, we work together since we met each the other in Buenos Aires with Cardinal Casper. Thank you so much for your time, for your reflections, for the friendship.
Yes, we are knowing each other for 16 years, Avi. 16 years. It's a long time.
and we met in many places. Of course. The deep place for me most relevant by large is Jerusalem.
Yeah.
When I was part of the Vatican delegation for the pilgrimage of Pope Francis to
2014.
To the Holy Land, and we met there. And okay, it's Eretz HaKodesh, it's the Holy Land, it's the holy place. Thank you so much, and we continue our dialogue.
Yes, of course, we are continuing, and I hope you can travel soon to Rome. But we have to wait. Savlanut, savlanut, savlanut. Patience, patience, patience. Okay.